day one, a violent vertical ledge setter.
We competing today. I see some ass off the edge. Give that mindset to put your shoulder on somebody. Dig, drop. You're finished. Hey, first down. This is weird, kid. Worse than that side.
Well, howdy doody, everybody. How you doing tonight? This is GreenBean. Welcome to the After Hours Jets Fest, where we settle it down a little bit from the former 2-hour live stream on the Talking Jets Network, the Talking Jets panel with Ryan and Matt O'Leary and myself. And now we just kind of wrap the night up in whatever fashion we see fit, quite frankly. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about Davante Adams. I want to encourage feelings. We can talk about our feelings tonight. Are you excited about it? Screw that guy. Are you sad? Come on. Why can't we have nice things? Are you? I don't really care anymore. The Jets have stolen my soul. I don't care. Is that where you are? Let's talk about that. We could talk about some combine. We can talk about the draft. We can talk about the Jared Allen seemingly drunk fest. I don't know what the hell that was all about. I'm retired. I can say anything I want. Screw the Jets. Where the fuck did that come from? The Jets suck. Why are you talking about the Jets? Fuck is wrong with this guy? It's like when, what's his face? Remember the guy? What the fuck is his name? I can't remember his name. It's just, it's I'm fried. The guy from the Denver Broncos. Remember it's right on the tip of my nose. Not quite my tongue. But yeah. Remember? And he's like pointing the finger at he's talking about the Jets. Like, why are you talking about the Jets? Like, what? This is the thing that we try to say. Like, the Jets, we're not very good. Right? Can we say that? We're not very good at anything other than creating dramatic storylines. Like I've told you, I'm convinced this is not a football team, but a sitcom. That's I'm firmly behind that. They know how to keep us. They know how to keep it engaged. But the truth of the matter is, we're not even relevant most of the time. And yet we're on the lips of NFL personalities all throughout the nation. Always. They're always talking about us. We're the most important thing in the whole world to the NFL. Now, partially because everybody likes to have somebody to pick on. Everybody likes to be one step above somebody in this world. You're like, hey man, I know I'm not doing so great, but I ain't that fucking guy. You know what I mean? Like that's what we used to call in alcoholic and drug addiction circles. Like when you get clean, sober, whatever, everybody that's in the rehab or in the AA meeting, whatever it is, that's a collection of that guy. Like we're in our group of friends, we were that guy. Like, hey man, I might smoke a little crack on the weekends, but I'm not that guy. And everybody needs to have that guy around. That's what's the pool. All my friends. We were that guy. That's who it was. That's the Jets. Look, Jake Assman hanging out. Welcome, Jake. After Hours with GreenBean gets the people going. I know, right? It's probably I should probably calm down a little bit this late, 10:35 p.m. on a beautiful, balmy Tuesday evening here. So maybe I should be more subdued and do a little sultry. I could do sultry. Did you guys know that I used to be a sultry guy? I don't know what that even means. But yeah, Jake hanging out. Jake was going to try to hang out with us on Monday night. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I don't know. No commitment maybe, but hopefully we'll get to see Jake on the 10 o'clock mock next week with us for a little while. See if he can pull that together. And we'll have some fun, but always nice to have Jake hanging out. Who is Schlereth? Who said it? There it is. Curly Norman. Oh, Curly, I'm going to say something. Very often, you are the guy who chimes in with the name that I can't remember. It's pretty consistent. You're among the guys. And then he corrected his spelling. Don't worry. You were close enough. Chaos says Sean Payton because Chaos is perpetually drunk. by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that. I've been trying to help Chaos for years. He won't stop. He loves those seltzers. You know, not the White Claw, nothing cool. It's like this really cheap shit because he's also frugal. We call Chaos outside of the Jets content realm. We call him the frugal drunk. Did you guys know that? The frugal drunk meatball eater. That's what we call him. I'm just kidding. None of that is true. None of it. Not a single word I said, except the fact that Sean Payton was not the guy I was talking about. But I understand how you made that connection, Broncos and all that. I was talking a few years back, Jeremy. We got to catch Jeremy up sometimes. So Jay-Z Jets fan says he loves the $29 million in cap relief. Well, and that's the thing. When you look at this, it all depends on the lens, right? The angle. It all depends on what angle are you looking at this through. And if you're looking at it through the angle of, well, look, we got a new regime. There's a lot of negative stuff here from the last number of years. You could say 4. You could say 6 rather easily, right? You could also say 9. You could very easily say the last 9 straight years. 2015 was pretty fucking fun. We can say that. Pretty fun, 2015. But it ended in the same fashion as as the following 9 years, which is, yeah, oh, no way. Oh, I told you guys. Interesting story. So I planned a trip to Disney, and I believe it was my birthday. Let me see. When the Jets Bills 2000, let me see. I believe it was my birthday. This is the way it goes. But let me see what the date was for this. Come on, everybody. What was the date? They don't tell me the date. We lost. That's what they say that. Let me see. But this was the Jets entered 10-5. What was the date? December 26th. So it wasn't my birthday. I'm remembering it slightly wrong. Oh my God, I don't want to watch the highlights. No! Excuse me. So, but either way, I was like my birthday trip. We were at Disney. I planned a big Disney trip. My mother flew down. It was a whole thing. Christmas in Disney. That's what it was, because we did the Christmas night, Mickey's Christmas night, where they shut the park down for a couple hours, and then only certain people get in if you buy like the Christmas night pass. And they got hot cocoa all over the place and free cookies and shit. And there's like 1/10 of the people, so you get to ride everything at night. Anyway, it's a good thing to do. But I was at Epcot during that game, so I couldn't watch that game, which is crazy, right? It's just the way that the planning went that I was pissed that I couldn't watch. Here we are, we're 10-5, and we're going to go get into the playoffs, and we're going to go beat Rex Ryan, who's the coach of the Bills. And Ryan Fitzmagic turns into Ryan Fitztragic. And my friend was texting me updates. So I'm walking around Epcot. I'm going on Soarin', and I'm, yay. And I'm checking the texts. You know what I mean? I'm saying, update me. And I forget how I said to him at some point, stop updating me. I don't want anything. I'm done. It was making me miserable at Epcot. And my wife even said something to me like, dude, why, can you hang out? Can you be present for us? I was like, hold on. This is very important. It's a very, very important football game going on, But instead of just beating an inferior team, going into the playoffs with Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker, Chris Ivory, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and, Revis and all the guys, Cromartie and Gilchrist and Busta Screen, right? Muhammad Wilkerson and all the guys. we lose in dramatically, ridiculously painful fashion and don't make the friggin' playoffs. And Rex Ryan, the guy we just fired, beats us and knocks us out of the play. Like Max Payne. That's what this is all about. So I was like, I just done. I like sat there for a minute, refocused, shed the Jets goop, and said, okay, I'm at Epcot with my family. And that was the day. You guys know Epcot, the world, it has the World Center, whatever, Expo, whatever the hell it's called. They have all the different countries. I said to my kids, it's funny because when I told them to stop texting me, I was in Canada, which is like first on the right. It's the first country on the right. As soon as you walk in past all the Soarin' and Test Track and all that shit, and you get to the World Showcase, that's what it's called. You start on the right and you go to Canada, then Britain, the UK, and then whatever from there, Morocco and some others. I said to my kids, you know what? Let's get a candy from every single country in the World Showcase. So that's what I did. And I felt a lot better. And some of that candy was booty cheeks, as they say. And some of it was pretty good. The shit in Japan tasted like salt, like rice and salt and shit. It was like, we had fun. But anyway, I don't know how I got on that. But Jay-Z Jetsfan checking in with his Streambeaner membership super chat. Thank you, my good friend. Crazy three-way trade idea. Chargers trade for McCarthy. We trade for Hebert. Remember, was it Justin Hebert? That's how he spelt it, but it was Hebert. So Herbert, thoughts? Well, that's interesting. Let me put this to the poll. Whoops, let me leave it up there. Let's get the guys going in the poll. What do you think? Let's make a poll. Would you do three-way trade? Chargers, McCarthy. What are they? Wait, so what are they giving up for McCarthy? What are we giving up here? It's like I got to know that piece though, Jay-Z. Chargers trade for McCarthy. So we trade for Justin Herbert. I don't know how to say it. Let me see. I got to see what we give. We get trade. So what do the Vikings get? Who's their quarterback? You got to complete the trade, Jay-Z. You see what I'm saying? There's a piece missing here, buddy. What are we giving up a first, I'd say, right? Pick 7. You got to give up. I mean, right? Let's just see. Yes, no. So let's assume we're giving up our first. I want to see what everybody says. Now, as far as me, let's see. Could I get him for the pick 7? You guys doing that? I do that every day of the week. Every day of the week, I do that. But who's the Vikings quarterback? So they're going to re-sign Sammy then. Vikings are re-signing Sammy, which the talks are, they're not doing the franchise tag. But they're going to do, Jake, you're the best, dude. I live and die with every content creator. GreenBean for life. See your ass on Monday. There you go. Hell yeah. Again, no guilt, no pressure. No presh, as they say. What are you saying, Mo Lewis, Tom? What was I talking about? That I don't even remember what I was saying. Mo Lewis, but let me tell you, Mo Lewis was my guy. I was a staunch, rabid Mo Lewis fan, and he got snubbed every friggin' year. Now, it's a shame because the guys he was getting, now don't forget, he's played middle linebacker for us. He's played weak side linebacker in a 4-3. He played outside linebacker in a 3-4. He's been a guy, interception machine. He's been a sack master. He's an amazing run stuffer, great in coverage. He was a 12 years a New York Jet. He was snubbed. He had better stats and right in the same neighborhood, but some years better. And he was always snubbed perpetually. He was up against great guys, Derek Thomas and Junior Seau. God rest their souls. Both have passed. Great, great players. But Mo Lewis was perpetually overlooked for those guys until Bill Parcells came to town. As soon as Bill Parcells came, everybody looked over and said, holy shit, this Mo Lewis guy's good. And he made 2 consecutive All-Pros. You thought, what, he just, at late in his career, you think all of a sudden he's an All-Pro? Fuck out of here. And it sucks that even Jets fans, the NFL and even Jets fans, whenever I bring him up, they say the same stupid thing, and they only remember him for one thing, and that was absolutely decimating the first $100 million quarterback in NFL history, one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL at the time, Super Bowl a couple years prior with the Pats, Drew Bledsoe. Nobody in the world thought that was a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like, Patriot fans were utterly miserable. Never thought a 6th round pick with no muscle tone was going to come in and be the greatest quarterback of all time. And don't forget, that was also the 9/11 game that happened. So the first game after 9/11, our star linebacker crushes Drew Bledsoe. It was universally applauded as a dominant play by a great player. Now, nobody's rooting for Drew Bledsoe to be hurt and all that kind of shit, of course, but Mo Lewis broke his friggin' ribs. It was crushing. And it sucks that because Tom Brady happened to be the guy that trotted in, that Mo Lewis is all but forgotten. And that's the thing that they remember him for. It kills me inside because he was one of the greatest Jets of all time. And he's a Jet through and through. 3rd round pick. Stayed with the Jets for 12 seasons through the goop and the muck. 1-15, 3-13, all that shit. 4-12 until Bill Parcells came here. The fake spike. He was here for all that shit. But let me know what you guys think of Jay-Z's trade idea. I think a lot of people are going to say yes. Infrared reminding everybody to pound that like button. We got a small crew tonight. It's probably because there's a big event going on out there right about now, I think. There's a big event, which we won't bring up because this is a football show and we keep it light. It's hard to keep it light when you talk about the Jets, of course, but Jay-Z says we give up 3 firsts. 3 firsts. I don't know. Do you do it, guys? 3 firsts? All right. Jay-Z says Vikings get Sammy, Chargers throw a first over, and we give up 2 firsts. 2 firsts, I'm in. This year's first, next year's first. I'm in. Use your 2nd round pick on either a wide receiver or tight end, depending. Whoever's there. Get him a nice, solid, reliable weapon to pair with Zach Wilson. Get another wide receiver in free agency. Put some fucking effort into developing Malachi Corley. Right? Get me a right tackle, and we got ourselves an offense, baby. Send a second to the Seattle Seahawks for DK Metcalf. Dude, tell me this. Would you use this year's first and second and next year's first on Justin Herbert and DK Metcalf? I'll take it. And then everybody turns around and looks at the Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers departure a little bit differently. That said, it ain't happening, buddy. Well, let's see what everybody says. That one is, well, you never know because, what's his face? I can't even remember the coach of the Chargers' name now. Holy shit, am I broken in the brains? Come on. Harbaugh, sheesh. Likes some J.J. McCarthy now, don't he? Yeah. Okay, I see what you're doing here, Jay-Z Jeff fan. So 62% said absolutely, 37%, including infrared, I bet. Infrared's like, no, I want to trade back in the first and the fourth. Right, buddy? I would love that trade. I would do it every day of the week. And I would make sure he's protected. Dude, let me tell you what that does for, like, dude, if you just get a right tackle, that's good. I don't give a shit. Now you take some money, and granted you got to pay Herbert, and but we just saved $29.9 million. So, and the $30 million that the cap just expanded. So again, give Garrett Wilson a contract. He's free. He's free. Whatever our cap was before, you're going to just, okay, I'll take that $30 million. I'll give it right to Garrett Wilson. And then I just function with everything else that I was going on, knowing I have my free, amazing wide receiver one, who's amazing, by the way. And I don't take kindly to any blasphemers against Garrett Wilson. All I need to show you is the Michael Jordan Air Wilson catch alone. Just to start us off here, okay? He's amazing. And he's got the best work ethic. He's a winner. And we got to reward this guy, keep him around. And Aaron Glenn's got to tell him, dude, you're the attitude I want. You're the guy. Make sure everybody around you that they play, that you don't take kindly, you don't accept any bullshit around you. They're going to play as hard as you are, or they're going to go. Let me know. And you get Jefferson, our wide receiver coach, you tell him, dude, I ain't taking no divas. I'm no pansy stuff in my wide receiver core. You get Justin Herbert, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf. Jesus. I'm in. Infrared says, Mo Lewis was my favorite player. Yeah, dude. I mean, I loved him. Remember when we drafted him? Now, granted, at that point in my life, I with full transparency, I was definitely not a draft guy yet. I watched it, and a lot of the times if I didn't watch it, I paid attention to what was happening. You know what I mean? Like, because it was a different era then. It was like hard to watch. It wasn't like easy like it is now. But I would read the papers the next day. I'd look at stuff. It wasn't like you didn't have Twitter. It wasn't like every second something happens, before it happens. Like, Jets just handed in their card, and this is what I read on it. Now it's crazy. But back then, so I paid attention. So I remember when we drafted Mo Lewis, we had a linebacker by name of Joe Kelly at the time. And pairing Mo Lewis with Joe Kelly, they were instantly it was like, they were wonderful. And then we added Bobby Houston, I think, was right after, I think those three played together. Then we drafted Marvin Jones. It was Kyle Clifton. That's what it was. Kyle Clifton in the center, who's another one, the most overlooked Jet of all time, next to Joe Klecko, up until very recently. Kyle Clifton led the league in tackles 3 or 4 times, had 199 tackles. As it's funny too, because Ray Lewis is considered the linebacker with the most tackles in NFL history. He never made 199. They started counting after. Like they started keeping that record after Kyle Clifton's year. So Kyle Clifton, dude, think about this, led the league in tackles for numerous years, consecutive. Not one Pro Bowl. You want to talk about being overlooked? Come on now. So it was Joe Kelly, Kyle Clifton, Mo Lewis. Oh, young Mo Lewis, fast. Oh, man, he was a demon. And then we added Marvin Jones when Kyle Clifton got older. He was wearing down, and then Kyle Clifton hung around as his backup for a year or two. That was the good shit infrared. I've had 2 Mo Lewis. I still have one. But it's like my Mo Lewis jersey was like one of the cheaper ones. I got it made at the NFL shop. So I made my own last, when you can pick your name on it. But it was like a cheaper one. So it's all faded and everything. But I had another one. I lost a few jerseys. I had a Klecko. I have a Klecko now via the great Dom C. Gave me that as a gift. See the Klecko jersey right here? Signed by Joe Klecko. Dom C sent me that as a gift. And isn't that amazing? Very touching. But I had a Klecko jersey that's gone. I had my Bird jersey that's gone somewhere. I used to call it the Dirty Bird because I went to opening day at Giant Stadium one year and it poured on us. It was like a warm day, but it just poured the whole time. I was sitting like third row in the end zone. We were sopping wet. And I didn't. Actually, it's funny because I was walking out of the stadium that day and I ran into Mark Gastineau and he signed. I said, "Hey, can you sign my jersey?" It was a Dennis Bird jersey, but I had Mark Gastineau's signature on it and I wore it all the time. But anyway, that day I ended up taking that jersey. It was soaking wet and I just threw it in the hamper and I didn't wash it for like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something like that. It was just at the bottom of a hamper and it got this like fungus on it. On the numbers, there's like little green dots, and oh shit. So I washed it, it wouldn't come out. I like bleached the numbers, wouldn't come out. I brought it to the cleaners, and the cleaners said to me, "This is some fungus," they said, or whatever, and they said it's never coming out. They tried to clean, wouldn't come out. It was faded. So the numbers were all dirty looking. It was clean, but it was stained forever. So we used to call that jersey the Dirty Bird. Like my buddy, Joe, we'd go to the Jets games and they'd go, "Hey man, you wearing the Dirty Bird?" Like, we talk about what we're getting all psyched up. So I don't have that jersey anymore. I don't have my other Mo Lewis jersey anymore. I don't have my Klecko jersey anymore. So, you lose things when you're a fucking crackhead and heroin addict and shit. You know what I mean? You lose track of stuff. Lance Mel was a little, I remember, let me see when Lance Mel played. It's like weird. I don't have, very much memories of, I know he was around in the Sack Exchange years, right? So he stopped playing in 87, but it's interesting. I don't really remember Lance Mel. It's a weird thing because I was watching, right? So like 82, 81 is like the year I started watching, really. And then the 82 and all that. And then 83. Like, so that was when I was starting to become a Jets fan, but I was young. I was 10 years old, 11 years old. So Lance Mel stopped playing and really like what he played 7 games in 86, 2 games in 87, didn't do much. So he played like 0. What is this? Doesn't even have his tackles. Crazy. But anyway, so it was like, so 85 was like his last full year. And so I was 13. You know what I mean? So it's hard to remember. It's weird. Greg Buttle before my time, Michael. Marvin Jones. I mean, dude, let me tell you, that's probably the first draft that me and some Jets fans got together and had like a draft party. And that was the year that we traded back with the Cardinals. So it's crazy too. We got no value. At the time, it was beautiful. But you look at it in hindsight and you're like, yeah, we probably could have gotten more. But at the time, We needed a running back. We had Blair Thomas, right? Because this was 94. And Blair Thomas was 92, I believe. So Blair Thomas was here, but he sucked. So we needed a running back. And Garrison Hurst was the top running back. And we were putting out the smoke that we're going to take Garrison Hurst. So the Cardinals wanted him. So we said, all right, you trade with us, but you give us Johnny Johnson, who was a badass, mean son of a bitch running back. We said, you give us Johnny Johnson, we'll slide back. And so we got our running back and we got Marvin Jones at pick 4, I think it was. Great. The next day on the Post, it was the Post or the News, one of them, the back page said, the Jets become the Steelers. And meaning, Stealers. And that we stole Johnny Johnson from the Cardinals because we were never going to take Garrison Hurst. We were always going to take Marvin Jones. Fucking badass. Badass Magoo. So, yeah. So what do you guys, about our quarterback situation? There's lots of talk about the Jets, trading up to number 1. Let me just do this tonight. Let's do this. Here we go. What do you think? Yeah, I can't tell you how many days I looked like this. But so we got this idea that the Jets are among the teams talking about trading up to first overall. Got hot in my hat. So that's if we do that. Now, Cam Ward, I'm not a Cam Ward hater. I know there's some guys saying he's worthless. I don't believe that. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. But I don't know if he's ever going to be like what you would trade up for. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't feel like that about him. But it was going to take this year and next year's first, definitely this year's second, probably next year's second. So that takes 4 premium picks away to get up there. The first thing that a new regime does, I don't like it. It's too risky for me, right? I don't like it. And then this team is essentially, this group, this regime is essentially saying, we are tying our fortunes to Cam Ward. That's it. And you're not going to have a first and 2 seconds to support him. I don't like it. You know what I mean? You're putting yourself at a deficit to get a guy who's iffy of a franchise quarterback, and you lose the key assets to support him. I just feel like it's a foolish move. If they did it, obviously, I'd get behind it and I'd root and the whole thing, and I'd find a way to hope and all that jazz. Hold on a second. Let me see something here. I got to get this off because they're gone. They're not here anymore. I didn't even realize. So used to seeing it. So that I don't like. I got to say, I don't like it. It'd be exciting to have a young, talented quarterback like Cam Ward here, no doubt. But I don't like it. I don't like the scenario. Now, if he happened, let's say the Titans stay at 1 and they take Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, right? Somebody like that. And then the Browns, they're like, we're not, we're gonna take. So let's say that the Titans take Travis Hunter, best player in the draft, and the Browns are trading Myles Garrett, and they're like, okay, let's get rid of him and let's replace him. So they take the premier edge rusher. Maybe they love Pierce, right? So they do that. But let's say they take Abdul Carter. Now we're sitting at 3, and the Giants love the idea of Shedeur Sanders. And Cam Ward sitting at 4, and we're at 7. And you could get up there. Well, let's see. The Patriots are next, right? The Patriots are next. They're not taking a quarterback. And assuming, nobody's trading yet. The Patriots take Tet McMillan, which is who I think they're taking, by the way. It's going to be painful, but they're going to do that to me, to you, to us. So they take Tet McMillan. Now Cam Ward is sitting at 5. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not taking a quarterback either. Now, again, if he makes it to 5, the phones are going to be ringing. So you can call up and you can say, hey, I'll give you a second or whatever to jump up. What's the value? So 1,800 to 50, you got to get 300 points. Our second is worth 480. So you can say, I'll give you the second, and I'll overpay by 180, which is the equivalent of a mid-third. Pick 82. So I'm giving you the value of a second and third. That's where my second is, because it's early. It's pick 42. If you can get Cam Ward and all you give up is a second, I'm okay. I don't love giving up the second, but you keep next year's first, and you know what I mean? Like, so, and hey, maybe you say, maybe you could say this year's third and next year's second or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. That's a different story. Now, what if Shedeur Sanders, as you've heard, he's not blowing people away with his personality these days. And then you got to factor in the Deion Sanders energy and potential drama and the cocksuredness. I mean, look, confidence is amazing. You want it. It's a fine line between like truly confident and a leader and cocky and a douchebag. You know what I'm saying? That turn people off. Now, he doesn't have that. His teammates love him, so there's that. But bringing him to New York, it's going to be a different scene here. So you gotta think about that. So what if Shedeur Sanders slides all the way down? You taking him? So go Hangard. What's up, buddy? Says, I'd rather roll with Tyrod and sign a backup. Here's the thing with rolling with Tyrod, though, is that the last couple times he's had an opportunity to be the starting quarterback, he didn't make it. He didn't make it through the season, right? And he's older. So, it's likely that happens again. So you got to have somebody sign a backup. Who are we talking about? Because that's our season. And then so let's say Tyrod makes it 8, 9 games, 8, 9, 10 games. You still got, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9 games left. And then you're watching essentially Zach Wilson again. And let's say we're at 9 games and we're 5-4 or 4-5, like we're in the mix. And then you got to watch another season of Garrett Wilson being frustrated and no running game because they don't trust the the quarterback's not a threat or anything like that. You know what I mean? Matthew Dobson says, just go get Justin Fields. That I honestly think that's the play this year. I really do. And I'm no Justin Fields guy, but I'm also not a hater either. Like, again, with the Steelers, like he had a rough go with the Bears. A lot of factors, but he looked, he had very, very spotty, okay, at best. But last year with the Steelers, we get into this all the time. Truly, they won on the back of their defense, no doubt. But Justin Fields, what he did was he played very efficient football, smart football. He had some touchdowns with his feet, three or four, and he had like 9 or 10 touchdowns in the air in 6 games. So not terrible, not blow your doors off stats. He only had 1 game over 300, but then again, Zach Wilson only had 1 game over 300 or maybe 2 in 3 years. So he was essentially like a 150 to 200 yards kind of guy, but efficient. His interceptions were low. And again, he was a threat with his feet. and he threw a few touchdowns, and he played winning football. And if you do that, if you have an efficient quarterback, and the offensive coordinator is worth a shit, and he's a 21st century offense, and he's calling plays and running schemes that look like today's NFL. Justin Fields, again, you sign him for a 1-year contract. For him, it's a put it all in, try to play well enough to get myself a real contract. So you get a motivated guy. He's 25 years old. And you try to catch lightning in a bottle. And if you don't, no foul. If it doesn't work, then you got a relatively high first-round pick next year. He's gone. No problem. See what I mean? I think that's the play, Matt. That's what I think. Yeah. So Tampa says not sold on Cam. Who are you talking about, Brandy? So Brandon Newsom says, right, some haven't worked out. Let's look around the league at those who did. Josh Allen, NFL MVP, Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP, Lamar, second MVP, and has been an MVP too. So I don't know what you're necessarily talking about, but those guys, so Jalen, yeah, I mean, they're first-round quarterbacks. Josh Allen's the only one. I don't think the Eagles traded up for Hurts. I could be wrong, but the Bills traded up to get Josh Allen. What an interesting one, right? It's funny that Josh Allen was looked at in that class. There was a top 4 and Lamar. Lamar, the consensus from all these super smart NFL guys was that his game isn't going to translate to the NFL, and he's essentially a running back, right? Or a gadget guy. He has definitely proven otherwise, to say the least on that one. But Josh Allen was like part of that top 4. It was obviously Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Josh Allen. And Josh Allen was considered by most to be number 4. And he was number 4, if I remember correctly. Maybe I think the Cardinals took Josh Allen before him, or Josh Rosen. But boy, oh boy, I don't think anybody saw this coming. And it just sucks for us. Like we are in a division that has had like the best quarterbacks in the league in it forever. We had Dan Marino, right? And don't forget, like Jim Kelly, Doug Flutie. So it was one point when we had Dan Marino on one side and Jim Kelly on the other. You know what I mean? These are MVP guys. Super Bowl quarterbacks, you know what I mean? And then so we had Peyton Manning here when the Colts were in the division. I think he was here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning was here before the realignment. And then obviously you get Tom Brady for fucking 20 something years and whatever that was. And then he goes and is immediately replaced by a guy getting NFL MVP. It's like, it's not just like, oh, there's good quarterbacks. No, we're talking about the best quarterbacks in the NFL for whatever reason happen to be our division. It's really crazy. Like, we can't just get a little respite. Like a whole group of middling guys while we are good. Well, we got to get good. That's really the problem. We suck. Well, I think, Brandon, the plan would be, again, my plan, I think this year, like, you don't want to put a square peg in a round hole. Like, if you think he's the guy, then, okay, you can try to figure it out. But again, the way to get to him, like, sometimes you just can't make anything you want happen. Sometimes it's not worth it. because you're not going to be able to have the assets to support him. Now, granted, you free agency and all that, of course, and then third round you can find guys, of course, but not having a first or second next year and a second this year, it's problematic. That's where you're going to get like the beef to be able to support this guy, whether it's offensive line, tight end, wide receivers, which we have none. We have Garrett Wilson, essentially, as the only proven guy on the entire roster. So that's the thing. But like next year's quarterback class is likely to be significantly more robust. And you play, that's the thing, is to play the draft. It's not always about, I need this, so I'm going to get this. It's like you play the draft by what it's offering. It's like you ever go to a Chinese restaurant, you sit down, and then they'll have like some bullshit items on there for the people that are stupid, or like kids, Like you go to a Chinese restaurant and they have chicken fingers or they have spaghetti. Like you don't go, you're like, well, I want spaghetti, but we're at a Chinese restaurant. It's like, I'm getting the spaghetti. You got to know damn well, they'll give you spaghetti, but it's going to be like ragu. That's what it's going to be. You're at a Chinese restaurant, you order Chinese food. If the draft is super strong, like if the draft is look, last year we had 9 offensive tackles taken in the first round. That's the most ever. That's the draft to get a left tackle. Because it's a strong left tackle class, and even right tackle, but a strong tackle class. So that's the class you want to take your shot at tackle. And that's what the Jets did wisely. Now, again, Bowers, great and all that's fine. But that's smart, especially when you need one. So this year, the draft happens to be very, very strong in tight ends, defensive tackles. It might be the strongest defensive lineman class in 20 years. We happen to need one or 2 or 3. So go get yourself a free agent cheapie, fat boy, run stuffer. And you use the draft, and it's also strong in safety. You know what I mean? So it sucks, to have to do that sometimes, but it can't always be glitz. Sometimes you got to do the foundational work. This draft happens to be foundational. That's its strength. And that's not to say there's not going to be a great left tackle, that there's not going to be a great quarterback, that there's not going to be a great wide receiver. Of course, it doesn't mean that. But it's the strength of the class is what you want to tap into, if you can. If the strength of the class is edge rushers and you happen to have 4 solid edge rushers, well, you're not going to be able to tap into that. It's not what, it's stupid. It's like with those teams that go BPA no matter what. And it's like you have a great starter and then you use your first round pick on the same position because it's the best player. Like, I hate that shit. BPA at all costs. I don't like that. Now, once you get to the later rounds, sure. But up top, you take the best player available at a position of need. That's the way I see it. Or if you got somebody on the last year of their contract, and they're going to be gone, then you can do that. And once you're good, you have more flexibility. But when you're shitty like us, this is a year when you got to fill some holes. And it happens to be a hole-filling draft. Really. Yeah, for defense. Like, look, we need a cornerback. We need a cornerback number 2. We need, let's call it 2 defensive tackles. Let's just say that. Because you got Quinnen, of course. But you have, LT3. You know what I mean? You got Hector. He's a young guy. I'm a fan of LT3, and I like him. But he's really most effective kind of on third down. He's, second, third down, second and long, third down, like that kind of thing. Now maybe he could be a 3-down guy. I don't know. But you definitely need a defensive tackle. We're likely, if we're going to run a true 4-3, you need a linebacker. You need one. And Quincy's on his last year. And this is assuming Sherwood comes back. If he doesn't, you need 2. We have 0 safeties on the roster right now. 0. We have no names. Tony Adams is free agent. Chuck Clark's free agent. Ashton Davis is a free agent. You know what I mean? It's like we got nobody. And I don't even know if we want to bring those guys back anyway. I don't. I'm done with all of them. You can keep Tony Adams if you want. But I'm not. All of those guys are Jags to me. Just another guy, man. So we need 2 safeties, starting cornerback. You need at least 1 linebacker and 2 defensive linemen. Well, guess what? This draft happens to have those in abundance, deep. So that's what you do. And next year, it's looking like that's going to be a quarterback-rich draft. So play your cards, see if you can catch lightning in a bottle with Justin Fields. Unlikely, fair, lower than average chance, but it's there. He's young. He's athletic. He's got NFL experience. So there's a lot of variables in the plus column. So you just take a run. If it fails, good. You're, not good, but then the positive is you're higher next year for a quarterback and you can make some moves maybe. Or if there's enough, if there's 5 or 6 or 7 first round graded quarterbacks, maybe right where you're sitting at 12, there's a quarterback there. Like last year, the Vikings traded up 1 pick from 11 to 10 and got J.J. McCarthy. And then Bo Nix was picked after us. At what, 13? Something like that? Bomber says, mark my words, Fields will be a Jet. So that's the thing. It's not to say that you're wrong. And I don't even know if you're necessarily talking to me specifically, but just in the quarterback conversation, I'm just using your comment as like a point to raise for thinking. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily arguing with you. I hope you know that. Just using that point for a discussion point. You know what I mean? Because that's a common thought. Like, the people saying, like, look, I'm on Twitter all the time. People saying, like, you got to have balls. If that's your guy, go get your guy, whatever it costs. But okay, I get that. But you can't fix everything. And again, this draft just seems to be really strong. Oh, yeah, I'm talking to someone in the chat. Anyway, you know what I mean. Hi, Kim. You're the best. I love Green Hearts. That's the best. Let's see what we got here. So what else we got? Give me some topics. We could talk about anything you want. Scott Foster says, today I watched Ken O'Brien's game-winning drive against the Giants. That made me feel good. Which game? The game-winning drive against the Giants. What year, Scott? Tell me what year. I'll try to keep my eye out. Yeah, this is a great draft class for tight ends. You know who my real guy is? Like, obviously, I like Tyler Warner. I like Loveland. I like Arroyo. But you know who I like? Is Jason Taylor's kid. I like him, man. I think he's going to be fantastic. And what he has to work on still, like, this is the thing. He's got the pedigree. Like, Jason Taylor, hate him all you want, and I certainly do. Even though he got us a safety in the AFC Championship game against the Steelers. He tried. He wanted to get to the Super Bowl too, man. But I still hate him. But you can't take away from the guy. He was a workhorse. He played late into, he played a long career, and he was a badass the entire time. And that's the pedigree that his son is coming up. And don't forget, his uncle is Zach Thomas. So he's hanging out with Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas all the time. That's who raised him. You know what I mean? So he's like, that's the kind of guys, and he's super talented. Mason Taylor. Yeah. And Brandon, again, man, I don't want to think I'm arguing with you. Again, when I see that, it's just a good point because I get it. Yeah, we need, if you thought I was kind of shitting on you, my apologies, sincerely. That's certainly not what I was doing. I'm glad I caught those comments though to let me know. You know what I mean? Yeah, here we go. We're good. We're good. So infrared said the trenches. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You know, like, dude, and I'm an old head, right? So I'm all about physical football. I'm all about like dominant, big hits, pain. Like I like that shit. I like wearing teams down and like battering them. Like that's what I like. I like teams like my offensive line is just meaner than your defensive. That's what I like. I like my linebacker to be the meanest guy on the whole damn field at any given time. That's how I would build a team. My middle linebacker is going to be the meanest son of a bitch on the field. Period. That's what I'm looking for. Fearless. I want him to. I don't like when linebackers like they look, and I've taught young kids how to play football, and it's a sound technique is to like when there's you break down and you stare at the navel, right? So that's what you do because then you'd unlikely to get juked. Like the worst thing in the world is to go diving at somebody with your head down and they fucking spin around or juke you and they're running down the field and you're eating dirt. You got grass in your face mask. You know what I mean? Like that's not what you want to do. But I am a fan. So that's sound and it's better than getting the guy getting past you when you break down. But I like my linebacker to be a heat-seeking missile. It's like, you know how Quincy Williams is like one game he's on fire and the next game he doesn't do anything. Like that's my one rub with Quincy. I like Quincy Williams a lot, but I have a rub with him. Like there are games where he's just a non-factor, and I don't know what that is. Like I don't like that. How guys seem to take games off. I don't get it. Not to say he is, but he's just not effective. But those games that he is effective, he is an absolute beast. And he crushes people. He runs fierce, full steam. I want my linebackers, they're supposed to be nasty. They can't be soft. Like I like Chaz Surratt, but I don't know. I don't mean to call him soft, but he doesn't give me the impression of somebody that's snarling. Like I want my middle linebacker, when they identify the play, I want them zeroing in and crushing him. I want people going backwards. That's what I want. That's why I like Jihad Campbell. There are mentalities. So like the trenches, like where all the business is getting done. I want my defense, for all intents and purposes, I want the entire game to be contained within right around the line. That's what I want. And when we're in there, nobody's outdoing us. Nobody's gonna, outman us. That's what I like the best. Hey, Ablab checking in. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, as always. Gang, Gang, yes, Justin with Garrett will make him feel at home. Hell yeah, Justin Herbert. Could you imagine, Ablab? Like if that became available, like Harbaugh is willing to he wants his boy, J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings are going to keep Sam, so they want to get value for J.J. McCarthy. They want to get that pick back, keep Sam. Team loves him. He won 15 games, lost in the playoffs, but oh well. You know what I mean? And Justin Herbert is on the market, and they say, give us 2 firsts. Give us 2 firsts and Alan Lazard. Dude, I would do it in a second, man. I would do it in a second. Be like, oh, yes. Please allow me to give you an extra 6th for being so nice. So I'm with it. Dobson says, I think Fields has a chip on his shoulder too. Yeah, that's the thing too. You got these young guys. Sometimes they come in, they think they're going to be the shit, and they get humbled. And they realize, holy shit, man, I might not have the career that I thought I was going to have. I need to work. I need to change my game. I need to put work in and add. to my game. I'm not going to just make it on athleticism. It's the NFL. Totally different thing. Maybe that's what's going on. And now he's pissed. Not pissed, but he's motivated, right? My buddy Ryan King checking in. Did you hear me talking about Epcot? Hey, GreenBean, long time. Missed you guys. What is your picture perfect off-season and draft scenario? Holy shit. Well, that's a big question. Number one, it's good to see you too, Ryan. I hope you've been well, you and your family out there in the great state of Florida. I hope you're doing well down there. Well, let me say this. I think my ideal offseason would be to get a viable quarterback. Now, I'm not anti going in with Tyrod Taylor, but I just don't think he's going to make it. So, I don't want to see us go from Tyrod Taylor, who is he's a serviceable quarterback. You can win with him. You're not winning at all with him, likely, but you can win with him. So I like the idea of if you're going to go in with Tyrod Taylor, you got to have somebody behind him that if he goes down can come in and still win, still play at least average NFL football. That's what I need this year. I would really love to see us get to 9 wins, just 9 wins. That's all. You could lose 7 of them. Or 9, you can lose 10 of them, right? Well, how many the fuck is wrong with me? 9, you can lose 8. 10. I'm like, they're not 19 games. So I really think what we need to do in free agency what I would do is I would key on a couple positions. And number one, I want to see Garrett Wilson re-signed. I want to see him extended, I should say. That's my priority. Then I want to key on a couple positions, and I want to get somebody in here for 4 years. Somebody that I believe is going to be an asset, that is going to be solid for me on the younger side. I want, whether it's an offensive tackle, whether it's a tight end, whether it's a cornerback, I want to get somebody in here, not on a 1-year contract. I want you to pick a couple positions and go get your guy. Maybe Aaron Glenn wants to pull in some guys from Detroit. Bring them over here. Keep them here while you're here. Give them a 4-year contract. That's what I want to see. The rest of it, I think I want to see some 1-year, 2-year contracts, defensive line, backup safety, so maybe the strong safety position. If you can't get even Wari or somebody, you know what I mean? So I want to see that. And the draft, what I want to see, whatever we get done in free agency, add a wide receiver 2 in free agency, whatever you can do. And I want to see us plug the other holes, at least 3 of them. So look, we have holes at tight end, right tackle, linebacker, cornerback 2 safeties, and 2 defensive linemen. We have 8 holes really to fill, and quarterback. So we have 9 holes to fill. So I want to see a nice portion of those. Don't get crazy. We don't need to go for the gusto this year. You need to fill these holes and start building your culture, start building your team. If you want to go with a Membo as a right tackle in the draft, that's fine. I wouldn't necessarily, but if that's what you want to do, great. Complete your offensive line, and whoever's going to be back there. Now you got an offensive line, 4/5 of which played together last year. So they're they at least know each other, which has not been the case here. You bring in Membu or whoever. Now you got a young offensive line that you can keep together for a few years. And at least this year, they've already played together. So year 2, you're only adding 1 piece. That's what I think. And then you got to, even if you can only take care of one of the safeties this year, you get a defensive tackle, and you can't really get your future starter linebacker, but you get a guy. He's good, solid, going to give you some real good play, consistent, So I think it's you got tight end. You got to get a tight end from the draft in here. Got to. And I think within the first 3 rounds, got to do it. Got to do it. So I think that this draft should really be outside, unless you're going to get Ted McMillan or somebody like that in the first round. This draft really should be a non-premium position draft. No edge, no cornerback. You can get a cornerback a little bit later. I don't want to see a first-round cornerback. So that's just what I think. That would be ideal. Like, get some of the hard work done. Like, don't go get the quarterback. You use all your assets, still have all these holes that you can't fill with premium positions, and you got to go pay high-price free agents or middling guys. Fuck that. Do the hard work. Settle in and build the foundation of your house. Like I said in the last stream, nobody walks up to, a job site where a house is being built when they're just doing the excavation. They just excavated, they just dug the trenches, and they're building the foundation. Nobody goes in there and goes, oh man, this is going to be beautiful. Nobody does that unless you are in construction. But nobody looks at the foundation and says, oh man, I love it. Everybody's like, okay, get that in and let's do. But guess what's vital for the house? The foundation. So let's take this year and make it a foundational year while still trying to compete, because we have a lot of young talent around the team. While we do have lots of holes, Sauce is still here. Quincy's still here. Hopefully they re-sign Sherwood. Quinnen's still here. JJ's still here. Will McDonald's still here. Brees and the other running backs are still here. Garrett Wilson's still here. We have a lot of young talent, man. So we got to let's start filling some holes. Get me my free safety or strong safety in the draft. Get the other one in free agency. And then get some depth. Get me one defensive tackle that's going to be here at starter. I would love Jamari Caldwell, Alfred Collins, one of those guys. That's my ideal deal. My ideal deal, Ryan. There you go. Sodak checking in. Joining late, but the Adams cut this early is whack. I hear you, dude. I just don't know why. Number one, the way that they leaked, or that it was leaked that they're going to cut him, release him if they can't find a trade partner. Absolute novice shit to me. Novice. And this is what you get with a rookie GM. Even though Spielman is here, like, dude, you got to say, we want Devontae Adams. And then you let you kind of, we'll listen, but we want him. And you play it, man. And you try to get something back. Dude, he's got value. He's a 1,000-yard receiver last year. Even switching teams. He's still Devontae Adams, man. You got to get something for him. I hate it. Well, let's see what they do. I do understand getting $29 million plus back. I understand that, Sodak. Ryan King checking back in. You think Yeboah gets a chance? I love him too, obviously, right? Let me see something here real quick. Let me see something over here. All right, here we go. Remember this? Let's see here. Hold on a second. So this is how much I love Yeboah. Everybody. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Here we go. All right, you ready? Whoops.
Now, the Jets traditionally would choose to run up his hole right now, Franklin. That's what we like to do.
Well, you got to get him now. We got 13 personnel, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm telling you, we're going to run right up Max Mitchell's ass. Well, I'll bet my mortgage on it.
Jumbo package.
Here we go.
Oh, we're passing out of it. Yeboah, motherfucker! Yes, Yeboah! Yeah! Yeah! What I'm talking about.
It's Yabo season, baby.
They love him. Look how much they love him. That's right. All day. All day. I don't want to hear it. All day with my guy.
At a 13, we're throwing at a 13. You'll love to see it. That's what I've been saying. Throw out of 13. Bring in your jumbo and throw out of that shit. Yeah.
Oh my God. Make this pick. If you ruin Kenny's touchdown, I'm going to kill you.
Take down the middle.
There it is. Yes. This guy's good, this kicker. I like him. Kenny Yeboah. That's right, W. That one was for me. I've been waiting 4 years for that shit. Beautiful pass.
So there it is.
See the block?
See it? So I freaked out. I shut my whole thing. I was like, bang. I did my everything almost fucking fell over and everything. I love Yeboah, dude. Now, I would love to see Kenny Yeboah get a chance with a real offensive staff. Do I think they're going to re-sign him? I don't. I hope so, but I'm not holding my breath. Ablab checking back in. Thank you, buddy. You have to pick one linebacker. Are you taking Ray Lewis or Jack Lambert? Dude, Jack Lambert with his no teeth. Remember that guy, Ablab? Holy shit, he was mean. I got to say, though, I'm probably taking Ray. Ray Lewis was unbelievable. Dominant. Truly sideline to sideline, too. I loved Jack Lambert. I had a lot of Steelers friends growing up because you remember that era. There was lots of Steelers winning coming out of the 70s, 80s. Yeah, man. I think, and I look, I watched Ray Lewis a lot more too, but I think I take Ray Lewis. What about you? You taking Ray or you taking Jack Lambert? It's a good question. I'm lagging hard. You guys said I'm lagging. I know I see it on my end. I see it. That sucks. The audio is good. Let me see here. I think I'm okay right now, though. I'm watching YouTube, too. I have me over here on YouTube. I saw it. I saw some lag. Let me see. I look to be good now. Thank you, Ablab. Sodak checking back in. Mr. GreenBean, it's early, and I'm not trying to be a jackass, but God, am I scared of Moogie given our pre-JD draft. Dude, me too. And again, for me, I think the Devontae Adams thing was mismanaged. Like, I'm a believer that you have an asset. You do everything that you can to get something for the asset. Now, if they're looking at it as the $29.9 million we're getting back is fine with us. That I get it, but you can't get a 6th round pick for Devontae Adams. Give me a break. And then you got 3-6 and you can package 2 of them and move up in the 3rd. Something like that. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm of the mindset that always be where, this is always be closing, ABC, always be closing. That's my thought. I think they should always be working, always be trying to get value 100% of the time. This is my business. I let no one go without trying to get something. I don't care if it's a 7th round pick in 2028. I want it. Get me something back. I got a $10,000 vehicle. Nobody wants it. So I'm going to give it away. No, if somebody says, I'll give you $500 for it. Well, then I take the $500. If I can't get anything else, I'm going to take the $500 rather than just give it. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. So I think coming out of the gate, not my favorite move. I understand why he can't be here. And I understand, again, it's a little early for me. Free agency doesn't start till next week. I got plenty of time. I'm in no rush. I'm working the phones. I'm seeing what I can get. Now, maybe he did. Who knows, right? Maybe we don't know. Maybe he talked to 31 GMs and they all said no. Who knows? Get something. Give me one of your depth. Give me Carson Steele. Send him to the Chiefs. Give me Carson Steele. He wouldn't want to go to the Chiefs. Come on. Adding Devontae Adams to the Patrick Mahomes repertoire. Right? Give me Carson Steele. Give me something. So that's how I see it. I'm worried too, because for JD, all JD's faults, he did flip the entire deal with us blowing our first round picks. Now, Zach was a whiff. Becton ends up being a whiff for us. Certainly not a whiff for the Eagles. You know, look, Braden Mann, oh, he sucks. Get him out of here. He went to the East, fucking got a ring too. He's been there since the day we cut him. We cut him. They signed him. He's great there. I mean, what are you going to do? We're fine with Morstead, of course, but I mean, it's not really a whiff. He's a whiff for us. We couldn't figure it out. He sucks. He's no good here. The Eagles said, yeah, he's good here. Becton, yeah, we'll take him. We're going to move him inside. You want to know why we're going to move him inside? Because he lost his lateral movement because he had 2 knee surgeries. We're going to stick him inside and make him remove his need to hop step to the right or left for that matter. We're going to take it away. Clearly, he lost that. We're going to move him inside. He's a fucking monster. He's an animal. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's what we're going to do with him. Worked out delightfully for them. So, but he completely, we were blown. We didn't re-sign a first-round pick for like 10 years. No second contracts. Quinnen stopped that. Quinnen was the first-round pick that we signed to a second contract in forever. So, we got to see, man. I'm hoping these guys are smart. I'm happy Spielman's here. Keep some balance. The main cat's checking in. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for the 15 months of support. Before we all finally go to bed, LOL, I just want to tell you all, JETS, Jets. That's a great thing to do. I love that, main catch. And that's the way we're going to end this show. It's 11:48. Got to see all you guys. Infrared and Chris DiNardo's here and Ablab and main catch and Sodak. Look at all you guys. Jay-Z's in the house. Braden's in the house saying he loves lunchtime because he's in New Zealand. He said, love lunch meetings. Hey, what did he say? Very beginning. I love Wednesday afternoons. That's what he said. Yep, Wednesday afternoon for Braden. With that all said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Whoops. And don't forget to hit the like button on the way out, man. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I will see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. with my buddy Tigo on the Talking Jets Network for the Armchair GM show. And we'll talk a little bit about this. How are we going to go and approach this offseason as we head into free agency? I love you guys. Be safe out there. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
I think he's going to be day one, a violent vertical edge setter.